Hi, everyone. Welcome. Hi, great to see you. I hope everyone is doing well. Feel free to put your business in the chat as well as your Instagram handle in the chat too, so we can all follow each other and help each other's businesses thrive. Welcome. I'm going to be letting people in, and I do that on my other laptop. So if you see me going back and forth, that is why. Welcome, everyone. Please put your name and your business in the chat as well as your Instagram handle so we can all help each other's business and follow each other. I know this isn't a social media webinar. I did that a few months ago, but it's always helpful to follow each other and connect. And we're all small businesses trying to help each other thrive. Welcome. Hi. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you. Hi, Steve.
Hi.
Hi. Feel free to put your business and your Instagram in the chat. I think we're going to have a nice small group today. So welcome, everyone. We're going to talk about understanding your target audience, which is one of my favorite topics. And it's also a really hard topic because there are so many different options to go about this. So let yourself in, put your business in the chat. If you'd like to have more followers for your business, as I'm going to actually make this really interactive. Hopefully through the Luma site, you got a copy of this. I sent PDFs before in case you want to edit and print it out and write on it and do it in real time. Or you can, use the PDF and add it yourself or just take notes on your pen and paper. My hope is coming out of this, we can all have our ideal target audience, have clarity around it, and I'll share a few options of ways to do this. So I'm going to give people a few more minutes to be letting themselves in. As I know, sometimes there are a few stragglers. I'll probably start around 11:02, 11:03. So welcome. I'm excited to be doing this, as a lot of people always DM me or ask me about how to build a target audience. So hopefully, again, we'll walk away with one today. Hi, Mikey. Welcome. Nice to see you again. I'm so close to getting out of diapers.
Hello.
Hi. My daughter's 2, and I have been in diapers between my 2 kids for 5 years now. So.
Oh my.
4.5
Excited to
years
move on.
Yes. And she, my daughter's not wanting to, she's just being stubborn. It's a power struggle for sure. Welcome, everyone. For those who are joining, please put your business in the chat so we can all follow each other, or your Instagram handle so we could check each other out. My mission is to help businesses, small businesses, startups thrive. And so any ways that I can help us grow and connect with each other, I always love to network and have us all support each other. There could always be fun brand partnerships together. You never know who in these sessions are able to collaborate. But that was last month where I talked about powerful partnerships. This month, I'm actually going to get started now that it's 11:03. We're going to be talking about understanding your target audience. And this is for small and early stage businesses. And my hope is coming out of this, it's going to be super interactive. You'll know exactly who you need to reach and feel a bit more clarity of who that audience is. So starting off, why you're here. So you might not be knowing who your audience is. You might be trying different audiences and they may not be working out for you. You might need just help refining exactly who they are based off of data that you have. You want to understand their challenges. Maybe you're trying to build your product innovation pipeline and you're not sure what's something that they're struggling with. Like, you've been creating all these products, but maybe they have a challenge or an issue that you could be tweaking your product and really be answering and be that much more valuable to your target audience. So there are 3 different reasons why you could be here today. So today, we're going to learn all about target audiences. It's a buzzword, I feel like, especially with social media and the way you can run ads yourself. So we're going to talk about what that really means. We're going to build your ideal target audience today. So again, get your paper and pens ready, please, or you can write on the PDF that I sent right before this or print it out. And then we're going to figure out ways to reach them, which is really what I specialize in with media and marketing. And that's something I've been doing for the past 15 years, working at media agencies. So I wanted to share some of the things that I've learned over the years with all of you, so you can do it on your own. So who am I? If you guys haven't joined my webinar before, I'm Brooke Shapiro. I'm the founder of 2 different businesses. The first is a parent organization called Sprinkles Parents. I provide in-person and virtual education activities and resources to parents of kids under 5 years old, from pregnancy to under 5 years old. And then after spending 15 years, more than a decade, across strategic brands, I decided to help early stage and small businesses, as I feel like there was a lot that large companies were doing, lots of big agency work that was happening, that I could bring to small businesses so that I can help you thrive. And so some of the brands that I've worked on are Johnson & Johnson, Coca-Cola, and I've worked on a bunch of small businesses to date to help them grow. So what is a target audience, I think, is the first thing. Feel free to put in the chat if you know what a target audience is or what you think it could be. I'll give us a second to kind of see if. All right. So a target audience is the exact people that you want to reach within your market. They have a pain point that you're able to solve through your product or your service. And so they're also willing, and here's the big thing, can afford to purchase and engage with your product, service, or offering. A lot of times we may want to target someone, but they can't afford it. So you have to keep that in mind when building this out. And then it's important to know everything about them, how you speak to them, the places and ways they want to be spoken to, where they want to be spoken to, how they want to be spoken to, and what tone of voice and everything. And that's all part of your branding. But also when you're doing advertising, it's really important to know who they are, how they are, and where they are. So things to know. It's easier to start small with targeting and then expand. The way I like to explain this is think of Taylor Swift, right? Or Rihanna or any musician. They usually start off in like a smaller niche, like Taylor Swift was just country music, right? And Rihanna was just reggaeton music. I'm not really great with music, but essentially they start off in their niche, their expertise, they do it really well. And then they start to expand each song, each album, each everything to more and more general. And then the secret is you don't want to alienate your core audience, right? So if all of a sudden Taylor Swift went from country and started doing hard metal, she may lose a lot of her tried and true customers, and she might, and that's okay. But you try not to alienate those core loyalty as you expand and grow. So I always like to start pretty niche and small when building a target audience and then expand out. But there are, I'll talk about the Taco Bell theory in a second, because there are ways. Oh, wait, can you guys not see my screen? Sorry, someone said they can't see my screen. Oh, I'm so sorry. Can you see it now?
Now we can.
I'm so sorry. I didn't realize that. Thanks for letting me know. All right. So why it's important to reach your target audience is because a big impact typically. You know how to replicate the efforts of what's working. It's easier to convert them, right? Because if you know exactly who they are, you're not wasting time. A clear focus on what to do from a product innovation standpoint and distribution, since you're able to ask them, and then what they want to see. So it's really important to reach them and not try and throw stuff against the wall to lots of different audiences. And so ways to learn about your target audience is, in a perfect world, what I always do for most of my clients and for in general is to create a survey and ask people, and then you can kind of tell who's open to your product, what price points, what interests, what where they are, how much they're willing to spend, where they go, and really get them directly. And that's going to be a future webinar about building surveys, because that could also help with your innovation, with product improvements and all of that. So probably in the summer, I will do a survey building webinar to help people build surveys, give example questions to help you build that out. But in the absence of having a way of reaching them to even ask the survey, or in the absence of being able to create a survey, you can almost decide who you want your audience to be in a sense. You have that choice. You've made the product in a certain sense for someone, I'd imagine. Like if you close your eyes for a minute, take a second, close your eyes. Who do you imagine using your service? Who do you imagine using your product? Who do you imagine getting a result from that? And think about what they really look like. Lots of creative agencies do this and call something, develop something called a persona. And so that's what we're going to do today. So in the absence of really having survey data, which is the number one option, number two is you can just create your target audience from a persona based off who you really created this product for. I had a client last week who I was talking to who created a men's diaper bag. And he was like, who's my target audience? And I was like, well, you're a dad like you created this diaper bag. It's darker colors. It's great for hiking. You created this for yourself. So let's talk about what are your wants and needs? Where do you get information? Where are you like consuming and creating, your commentary and your discovery? So I always say, think about who you want to be using your product. And it might not be you as well. I have another client who developed a product that a brand she can't even use, but she saw the market. She saw it was something people needed. She had a friend who could really use this help and she developed it. So it's all about knowing in your head who you want to see using your product or service every day. And so again, what happens if you don't reach your target audience? You waste time and money. You're reaching the wrong people, obviously, so you don't want to do that. But there is one counter argument that you're probably going to hear in other webinars with other marketers. And it's actually, I call it the Taco Bell theory, because I used to work in marketing on Taco Bell, where we may assume someone is our target audience and we don't really know, right? So there could be some, what we call in Taco Bell gravy or goodness and outliers who might be, reaching or who might buy your product that you didn't anticipate. For example, your expensive clothing line, you just start targeting high-end people. People low income may save their money and want to spend on your product. And so if you're only targeting high-income people, you may miss them. But, are they able to buy multiple products? Are they going to be your best customer? That's where I believe a niche target audience or a more focused target audience may help, because you're not wasting people who, I think, Mikey, you're on the call, who aren't in diapers anymore, right? Or who may have aged out or who have gotten surgery, and corrected something that they had issues with. So, being more specific definitely does have some goodness. So as I promised, and I am going to be interactive this seminar. Thank you, Anne-Sophie, for sharing that as a suggestion. I want us all, please get out pen and paper, a Word document on your computer. I sent the PowerPoint ahead of time if you want to print it out and old school, right? That's what I like to do when building these out. Really want to make this so you walk away with something at the end of this that you can use. So the first thing we're going to do is define your audience. We're going to talk about who they are, which is called demographics. Second part, we're going to talk about more about them as just a person. So I think of demographics as what's on your credit score, and psychographics is more about what could be on their Facebook page and more information about them. Then we're going to talk about their pain points. So what are some challenges that they have? What's something they might be suffering from, whether your product can solve it, or even if your product doesn't solve it, ironically enough, you can still use that as a hook to be connecting with people. For example, if someone is, I'm going to go back to diapers. I'm sorry. It's just easy for me at this point in my life is, you may say, wow, do you not have a baby that sleeps through the night? That really is tough. It's not about the diapers, but it's a hook and a pain point that these parents are suffering from and really struggling with. The next thing is we're going to talk about their wants. What do they want? What do they want from you? What do they want from life? What do they want in general? And then the last thing, which is, again, where I think a lot of marketing gets hung up to, is the time. Like, how are they spending their time? Where are they spending their time? We all know no one, no offense, cares about our brands or products or service in theory, right? So we need to catch them during a time where they might care and that makes sense for them. And when they're open for the right time to connect and with that right message that we are going to learn about. So first step that we're going to do together is going to be, and I'll take a minute each to write who they are. So I have a few questions here that you can fill out in a word. And you can start now while I talk. It's going to be, what is their income level? Are they high income, low income? Are they, in between incomes, like, they might be low income now that you want to reach them so that way when they're high income, you can, talk to them if you're in finance or something like that. Where I had a client where I needed to connect with people that were, just out of college before they got to a high income stake. So that way they could get them young and grow with them. Think about the location. Are they in cities? Are you delivery service? So they're in the burbs and they can't access, good food or something, or remote places. Did they move during the pandemic? Like, what is their location? Are they in a house? Do they own? Do they rent? Are there race? Like, is there a certain, you might be a certain, affinity based off of the colors or the lotions or the products? Like, is there a race layer in what you do? And it's okay if there is, or if it's okay if there isn't. And if there is race, that has more affinity to your product, showing them in your creative once you get to the creative development is going to be really, really key. So knowing their race and who they are, people want to see them. So if your product, Taco Bell, going back to Taco Bell, actually, ironically, was mostly Asian men. So in their ads, a lot of times they would focus on Asian men, even though obviously Taco Bell is a Mexican food establishment. So think about the race of who they are, so they can see themselves. Gender, is it more male, more female? Are they non-binary? And so you want to have, the people dressed in the same kind of attire. Do they have kids? Do they not have kids? What age of their kids? Are they in the house? Are they gone? Are they empty nesters? Are they in a relationship? Are they divorced? Don't want to show happy, couples all the time. If a lot of your target audience is divorced, and that might be, triggering to them. So like, you have to think about really who these people are. In Sprinkles, for example, I have a lot of single parents or who are divorced. So I try not to do couples things or anything like that where someone would feel alienated. Think about their career. Are they high in their career where they're super busy? Are they just starting their career? Are they mid-managers, mid-level? What does their career look like? Where are they going to work every day? Are they having to travel far to go to work? Are they working weird hours? Again, this is your ideal audience. So you can get as specific as possible and then broaden out. But maybe the ideal person might be a busy doctor. And so, they're at the hospital a lot and needing fast meals. I don't know. Education, college educated, not college educated, in college could be, their age, etc. So hopefully you guys, while I rambled on, was able to start filling out your ideal target or your demographics for your target. Next, we're going to do psychographics and information about them. So again, this is about them personally. So this is what I love to do for psychographics, is so that if you do influencer partnerships, or if you do create any kind of partnership, you sponsor a sports team, or you decide to sponsor an athlete or whatever, like, do the people like your sport? Like, is that the sports that these people who are your target audience follow? Or do they even like sports? I have a client who sponsors antique car shows, and I asked him, like, is that what people who enjoy your product like, antique car shows? Like, I feel like they'd probably be more happy if you sponsored local music festivals or something like that. Thinking about, again, who your target is, what are their real interests are. Hobbies, are they into knitting? Do they like art? Like, think about what they're doing with their free time. Their money habits. Do they love spending money? Are they like super cheap and never like to spend money? Do they only spend money on things they value? Do they want everything at a discount? Think about really who they are. And again, who you want to be your target audience, not necessarily your audience today. Who do you want? You may not want the person that's looking for the discount. Again, music, health, their shopping habits. Where else are they shopping? Okay, maybe they shop in Target. Is your product in Target? Okay, maybe you should start thinking about getting it there. Maybe they only shop locally. Okay, so make sure you don't need to worry about Target and mainstream grocery stores. They're just buying local. Technology savviness. In usage, do they use their phone all the time? Are they never using their phone because they're busy hiking? Are they really good at using technology where you can scan a code and have an app and all these things and they really enjoy that? Or like, can they barely use a computer? So how do you make sure your experience and your message is really clear to them? So again, their health. Are they healthy? Are they going through some trauma? Did they just have surgery? All these different things. So that is psychographics. All right. Pain points. So what are they struggling with in their life? What are their pain points? As I mentioned, my pain point is potty training my daughter. And so what are the other things that people at a certain stage of your target is struggling with? Are they struggling with diabetes? Are they struggling with having enough money? Are they struggling with, again, it doesn't have to do with their product. It's just about their life, and people want to be connected to an authentic way. So we need to understand their whole self, their whole life, their whole being. So, what's their biggest frustration at this moment? Are they frustrated with costs? Are they frustrated with this fashion right now? Are they frustrated? Like, what is that? Again, not necessarily with your product, just in general. How are they trying to figure it out today? Are they, doing something else that's a bad solution, and you can show them how you have a better solution? What's your solution to solve it? How do you make their lives easier? What would you like them like to say to them? Like, what is something you'd like them to walk away with after trying your product? Is it, you're going to get through this. It's just a point in time. You'll get to potty training, or it's just a moment in time. It'll get easier. Whatever that could be, just think about what you would want to say to them. Again, as a human, products aside. Next is their wants. So what's their goals in life? Inspiration. Is it owning a home and you are a mirror company and you're helping them get to that home where they're finally decorating it, right? You're the icing, you're the cherry on top. So knowing that, like, what do they want? How do they want to be spoken to? Like, do they really want you to be funny if they're going through diabetes, they're suffering diabetes or cancer, right? Probably not. But maybe if you're a candy company, they want, lighthearted, fun, in a good mood, eat a snack. How can you help them achieve their wants and show them you understand them? How can your brand, again, solve for this? So what I like to do, and you can do this after, while I'm talking, is go through everything in this deck and say how your brand can solve for this, how your brand might be able to help if they aren't sleeping through the night. How can your brand help if they're going through cancer treatment or whatever it could be? So think about, you'll see their psychographics, their wants, their needs, everything, and then think about how your brand can solve for it. And it might not, and that's okay. But how can you speak to them that shows that you understand that? And where can you speak to them that shows that you get them and you're at the right moment and not being annoying in a space where they may not want to talk to you? And time. So this is my favorite part. I love talking about time spent with your brand and time spent in general of target audiences. So here is, how do they spend? And we're going to do an exercise in a second. So here, think about and answer the question again on paper or Word, wherever. How do they spend their time? What are they doing spending their time? Are they spending their time at a bar? Are they spending their time with friends? Do they just work all the time and never get a chance to breathe? What does a week look like for them? And what does a weekend look like for them? Is it the same? Is it vastly different? They work all week and they let loose on the weekend. Maybe you should message to them on the weekend when they're in a good mood and not in the week when they're like working 24/7 at an investment bank. What does their day look like? Is it really jam-packed and busy? Or is it like they have a lot of time to kill and they're just looking for something to do and would love to hang out with you and go for a walk and talk to you because they have, a lot of time on their hands and aren't sure what to do with it? Do they have lots of downtime? Are they, again, retired? Are they traveling in the car? Like, do they have a 2-hour commute? Are they using a subway where they don't have service, so you can't even market to them while they're sitting there? What are they doing? A laptop, phone? Which social media platforms are they using? Are they on TikTok yet? Do they not know what a TikTok even is? Are they still on Facebook? Are they using Reddit? Are they on Twitter? What social media do you think they're spending their time? And then how are they using it? Is it passive? Are they commenting all the time? Like, moms are usually more commenting and asking questions and really posting, versus any male or dad target brands are less like commentary. They may comment more in like a group setting, or like, excuse me, like a private setting, like a Reddit group or core or something like that, but they're not posting on Facebook where everyone they know can see them. So like, what are they using it for? Like, what do they use social media for? What do they do? How are they spending their time? And this is the biggest key to marketing. Many clients come to me, again, have this beautiful branding, beautiful logos, beautiful designs. And it's like, that's great, but we have to know what time to give it to them, or it may not make sense. Are you posting at the right time? What is the time spent that people want to see your brand? So this is the day. I'm going to show you an example, and then I'll have you guys do this on your own in a minute. This is the day in the life of Lisa Luxury. I was working on a client recently that, wanting to reach high-end women. And so I did this exercise for her, and I do, I try and do this for most of my clients where it makes sense. And I thought about, like, what does her day look like? Especially like luxury high-end is not something I typically work in. So I was like, okay, if she's a celebrity, she wakes up, and then maybe this also might be an exaggeration because I've never lived a life of high-end luxury. She's served a cup of coffee by someone, and she scrolls, by Butler, and she scrolls on Instagram, TikTok in the morning and sees what's trending on social and relaxes in her bed for an hour, until she's ready to get out of bed. Then she goes and works out with a trainer, and then she drinks a smoothie and hangs out with some friends, and then she showers, and then gets dressed. And then, she heads to a set of goes to her movie set. She shoots a few scenes for an up and coming, video, and then talks with her agent for a bit. Then she jumps in the car, and then she's in LA, and so she's stuck in traffic for a long time, and it takes her forever. And so while she's in the car, she listens to podcasts about fashion or life goals or something. What does that look like, you think, for someone like that? And then she meets a friend, and then they go shopping, and she picks out an outfit for the movie premiere at that night. So we know she's shopping more in store than online. She's not sitting on her computer buying stuff online while she's in a meeting. Like, it's more of an experience for her to be shopping. So we need to ensure like a luxury high-end product is in store for her to see it. And then she heads back in the car for an hour drive home, again, listening to another podcast. So that's like a lot of time she's listening to podcasts per day. So maybe we should advertise in podcasts. Okay. And then at night, it looks like she has her makeup artist come, and then she gets ready to head out to dinner. She checks her phone to coordinate with people. And then they're like, she's waiting to get into a club. And so she's like sitting and waiting on her phone in that long line. And then she gets home at midnight, and she sits on, and she like cleanses her face. And maybe we want to partner with some like brand that is like high-end facial cleanser, and, really about her beauty routines and her beauty clothes. And then she scrolls on Instagram and like wants to see pictures from the event and tries to find them and post them. And yeah, so thinking about, again, the day in her life, it has nothing to do with our products and nothing to do with the clothes and nothing to do with anything. But we have a sense of what she's doing around what time, where she is, what she's using. And that's how, I build out a lot of personas for my clients of like what your target is. I think about the day in the life of. I don't usually share her hour by hours that I do, because I could always, but I don't usually. But I think it's helpful for any founder to really do this for themselves. And I think it will help with your target audience understanding any product improvement, any partnerships, any product innovations, etc. So I'm going to take 5 minutes for you guys, again, on your paper. If you printed this out, if you have it in Word to go hour by hour and think about what your target audience would do. So I'm starting the clock now. So at 11:35, I'll hop back on and I'll find some music. All right. I hope everyone likes Katy Perry. So, and I hope that was enough time. Let me know if you need more time. I'm always the person that finishes early on tests. So I always want to cut things a little sooner, but hopefully you're able to see what the day of the life of your target is, what they really need, what they're really looking for, and just a little bit more about what their life is. And that, again, is when you can advertise them, because they're stuck in the car. They might be more likely. They're scrolling on Instagram at night. They're buying products, they're going shopping in stores. So maybe instead of just having e-commerce, you need to be more in person because that's how they prefer to shop. They don't want to be online shopping. Again, they're just examples of ways, once you know your audience, it really helps. So I forgot to mention this. You can name your target audience like I did, Lisa Luxury. So at the top, name whoever your ideal target audience is. It might be yourself. It could be a friend, it could be a friend's cousin's mother. It just really helps just to have their name to create this target audience persona for you. So now that we know about their interests, their wants, it's easier to know how to, one, create content to reach them, because you know what they're looking for. You know what they want to see. You know what they want to read or hear or learn about. So you know what blogs to write. You know what content to make. And then you need to say, what you can say, again, to hit on their pain points. So how you hook them in, what their pain points are: not getting enough sleep, gaining weight, they're tired all the time, needing to hit a deadline. What, again, are those pain points that you say? And that's your hook for when you're doing advertising, when you're creating content, when you're creating marketing, to really draw them in. For example, like I was saying, they might only be on Instagram morning or night. So make sure you post, before they get up in the morning and before they go to bed at night. And making sure your ads may only run then. You could have different messages during the day than you have at night is another example. Because again, it might be at night, you're like, you need to pull an all-nighter. That may be a more effective message than if you say in the morning, need to pull an all-nighter, right? And then when they check their emails, if you're doing email marketing, like they only get to check it in the morning and at night, they don't check it during the day, or they always check it at lunchtime, on demand, every time. So make sure to have your email in there before lunch. So as we think about media placements and advertising placements, start writing down 3 places you think you could start reaching them. So again, for Lisa Luxury, I said, okay, I can sponsor a podcast, because she's sitting in her car and she really loves podcasts. Some of the podcasts I imagine she's listening to is like Kathy Heller. So we'll see how much that would cost. She might be listening to a podcast about hair care or something. So like reach out to that podcast and see, if she can, if you want to have your brand be the sponsor of it, or have the founder speak on that podcast where you could reach her. Buy a billboard in West Hollywood, right? Could make a lot of sense, knowing she's there all the time. She's always driving to the same movie shoot or the same store she's going to, etc. Like she's in West Hollywood, she's stuck in traffic, she's sitting there and looking around. Sell products in Bloomingdale's. Again, we know she's spending an hour or 2 every day just physically shopping, because that's what she does in her free time. So we need to be in store, not only be online. Again, Instagram ads are probably, better in the morning and night, since she's not looking at Instagram during the day. So let's make sure, again, we post our video before she gets up at 8 a.m., not post at 2 in the afternoon where, we may miss her window. Again, just depends on who you think you are. So take, 3 or 4 things that you can do for your brand in your Word doc, on this paper, whatever makes sense. And messaging. So now that we talked about everything, her pain points, let's think about 3 things that you can now say to her. So, okay, what can you say? Not sure what to wear tonight. Again, Lisa's looking for clothes for the evening. So it would make sense to say, are you not sure what to wear? We saw she worked out and was in the same outfit all day long. Okay, workout wear all day long, because we know she didn't change her clothes. Again, what could that be for your brand? What's something that makes sense to say to your target audience, either in your ads, in your content, in your blogs, in your emails? whatever it could be that you know is hooking people to your brand and is something you can solve and makes sense. And then product innovation. I always say, again, my background was buying media. I feel like I'm a jack of all trades, so I totally understand content creation and the creative side. And then I also know that it all ties to your product innovation, right? You're not gonna be selling the same product over and over forever. You're gonna update your product, I'd assume, or your service. So think about your target audience, what does she want in the future? Okay, she wants clothes that are comfortable in the car. She's sitting in her sweaty clothes in the car. So what's gonna wick away the sweat? Lisa Luxury might want more colors because she feels really like tired all the time. So we need to make more colors in our clothes. Again, what could that be for your brand? Based off of what your consumer's feeling. Are a lot of your customers that you just identified diabetic? Oh, so you need sugar-free soups. A lot of the customers you just identified are checking the ingredients or checking what lotions are on baby diapers or whatever it could be, or what goes into the coffee or where the coffee is made. Okay, maybe you want to start talking about travel or something like that. So just think about what your customer is. What are they looking for? Are they looking at the ingredients? Are they looking, they browsing? Are they told by a friend? And then just build your product innovation pipeline accordingly. So this is a fun part. So we're going to take I'm going to do 2 minutes, since I'm running a little late, to write a story about your target audience, who they are, kind of based off of all the questions you just answered, what they want and need, how they spend their time. These are just helpful to understand, again, a clear way to reach them. We now know what messages you can say. We now know what, where to reach them. We now know about their life a little bit. We all now know their pain points. So make a little story about them. And so I'll let you guys start, but it could be something like, again, Lisa Luxury has no kids and loves to spend 3 hours a day shopping, but she hates that she's stuck in the car driving all the time instead of being where she needs to be. But at least she uses her time wisely and is listening to podcasts to learn about what the latest fashion is, how to lose weight, and her skincare routine. She is always working with she works with makeup artists and people who can dress her clothes well. And so in order for us to get our product to her, we're going to need to make sure that her stylist knows about our brand instead of her buying it. I'm just making stuff on the fly. And then she likes to eat at 12 o'clock and she goes to bed at midnight. So we want to ensure she has the right clothes for all different parts of her day. She likes to spend money on clothes, but she's not going to spend money on her car and her gas. Again, you just make the story about this person, and that's going to help you with partnerships in the future, sponsorships that you can create, designs you may want for a product, services you want to offer, because you're going to crystal clear know who you want to market to, what your target audience wants, and where to reach them at what times. All right. I'll let you start and take a minute. All right. So just to recap everything, you want to understand your target audience. That way you can focus on them and not be trying to reach lots of different people and trying different tactics. Just really focus on either a survey where you got actual data. And again, I'll have a webinar shortly about how to create surveys. But in the meantime, think about who you want to buy the product. Who'd you create the product for? What is it about them? Where do they spend their time? What are they doing? What are their interests? How do they want to be spoken to? Is it funny, not funny, serious? Where are they spending all their time? What do they need from you? And if you need help seeing, what makes sense for your target, you just want to run what you did by me, feel free to email me and we can set up some time to go through what you did today. Be happy to go through that for you in an ideation session. We can definitely, do it together if I know for myself in my business, it's so hard. I can do this for everyone's business all day long, but when it's your own, it's always so much harder to see it and to visualize it and to know who they could be. So I'm happy to always set up time and do that for you. And as you may or may not know, I do monthly free webinars, as my mission is to help small business, early stage businesses thrive. And so I hope that these sessions bring value to you. And every month I pick new topics. So next month, I'm going to talk about open-worthy email marketing. My emails that you guys receive or my sprinkles emails usually get around a 67% open rate. And so I want to share some tips and tricks about how to create open-worthy email marketing. Hot tip, I understand my target audience, I know their pain points, and then I write about it. The second thing is in April, I'm going to have all about PR. So a lot of startups ask me about PR if it makes sense. And then the last one is going to be all about ways to win on Amazon. So we will definitely talk about Amazon, as it's obviously a huge platform for you to sell products if you're a product, and ways that work. So I'm bringing in guest speakers for those two events. And so, yeah, please sign up for next month, the open worthy emails, so you can learn all about how to create those emails that people actually open and read and get value from and purchase from. And stay in touch. Feel free to email me. You can scan the QR code and set up time to chat for an ideation session or coaching for marketing or any kind of marketing needs you may have. You can check out my website, sprinklesparentsconsulting.com. I'm going to be updating it soon. I've been wanting to stay underground and haven't really put much into Sprinkles Parents website, but I think it's time I need to practice what I preach. And I know you need to have keywords on your website, right? You have to good content. You have to have all the newsworthy things, excuse me, leads and everything like that. So I'm going to start building out my website to practice what I preach and do for all my other clients soon. So thank you for joining me. I hope this was valuable and you learned something new and understand your target audience a little better today. And I'll stay on for a minute or two in case you have any questions, but I know you're all busy founders, so I want to respect your time. And I'll start looking at the chat since I'm not great at double tasking. Okay, let's see. So developing personas for brands, we can do it a few ways. I usually try and create a strategy overall. So understanding who the persona is, where they are, how they spend their time. And so I do that for an upfront one-time fee, or I can do coaching. So I'll be happy to share as an sorry, I don't want to butcher your name, but I will definitely send you my rates after this. And let me know if there are any other questions.
I do have a question. I can't see you.
You can't? Sorry. I think I turned off my camera at one
looking
point.
at black screen.
Oh, sorry. This is not my best techie webinar.
I do have a question, just because I have a hard time understanding my target audience because I work with health and you can't just turn away people. And so I've always tried to, when I'm trying to understand my audience, how can I target so people know my services? Because I'm an acupuncturist.
Yeah.
So most people look for acupuncturists when they have pain. But then how do I target? Do I target as a specialization in the area that I have acupuncture, or in the health field, you cannot turn away people.
Right. And you don't have to when you're doing targeting, because all of your messaging and everything is in the upfront. So you're not turning anyone away later on. It's all ahead of time, meaning who needs acupuncture? I've only gone once, and it was because I was pregnant and I wanted to induce labor. So if that's something you like to specialize in, you would start partnering with all the pregnancy specialists. So you might partner with a pelvic floor specialist. You might partner and have them know about you. You might advertise on Yelp because that's how they find acupuncturists? Are you getting it word of mouth? So email all the people you've ever done acupuncture for, and you say, hey, refer a friend for a discount, go. Do you actually capture everyone you've ever worked for? Like, do you have their email addresses? Do you have their information from your booking platform? So use it and message them and remind them to come back, because you don't want to just do something once. You want to keep building and growing a relationship with them. So tapping into your existing audience is always a great way to start, having them refer a friend and then going from there. Or if there's a special service you like with acupuncture that you prefer, again, whether it's induction labor or pain and soreness, or, then you might partner with where else are people who are pain and have soreness, maybe a physical therapist, or it might be a doctor's office that can refer people to you. Just knowing, again, because your ideal audience, who is someone who is in a car accident who now needs acupuncture, making this up. And you have tracked her day. So she spends a lot of time at the doctor. She's spending a lot of time dealing with insurance. I don't know. And so you will know where to reach her or him. Sorry, excuse me. I shouldn't assume. And when. Did that help a little bit?
Yeah, it does help. I've been doing a service right now that not many acupuncturists do. So I'm trying now to think of targeting acupuncturists, because I've been doing a lot of house calls. Most acupuncturists are very busy for house calls, cannot do it. So now I figured that I should target the acupuncturist, so they let their patients know that there is somebody who is willing to go for a house call.
Oh, that's one way you can do it. You could also, I don't know if you have a website, like have something in search that includes house call acupuncturist, right? If someone's searching for someone to come to their house, house call acupuncture, make sure it's on your site, make sure it's again on your Google listing, make sure it's, to your point, you can let other acupuncturists know if they don't want to travel. I'm sure you might be in a network of them. Again, doctors probably refer people to acupuncturists, I'd assume. Or how do people find out about acupuncture?
Now we're normally the last one in line. It's when they tried every single Western modality and that didn't work. Then they look for an acupuncturist. Not many doctors refer acupuncturists. A few doctors, very few. You will be shocked to see how very few doctors are open for acupuncture. But the most amount of research is on pain management and cancer support. There is a lot of research done on how acupuncturists can decrease the side effects of chemotherapy and immunotherapy. So now is UCSF in San Francisco, they do refer some of their cancer patients to acupuncturists. So
that's cool.
But
so you could be part of support groups. You could sponsor a cancer support groups that you may see. You can sponsor, join a pain management group. There are lots of different support groups or Facebook groups you can be in where you see people locally asking about it, and then go from there.
Thank you. I appreciate.
Of course, it's nice to see you again.
Yes, it is very nice to see you.
Awesome. All right, I'm going to go to the chat real quick. Natalie, I saw you ask about platforms that using for market research to push out surveys. So I create surveys on Typeform. If you're familiar with that, SurveyMonkey is another one that you can use. Good old-fashioned Google Forms, that's where you can create them. Platforms where you can actually push out to get people to answer it are usually tend to be really expensive. I can follow up with you on the one that one of my clients used through SKU, which she was part of. They gave her access to that. I can't remember their name right now. But usually, again, just posting your survey to either your friends or Facebook groups or email groups or ex-coworker, whatever it could be, you can start to see and get people who might be good fits to answer your questions that authentic way. But I hope that helps. It's hard to get the people to fill out the surveys. That's why there are some companies out there. But they pay people to do it, so you have to pay them. Like they give people Amazon gift cards. Yeah, I'll definitely share it with you afterwards. Cool. Well, I don't usually like to keep these for an hour because I know everyone's busy. Sorry, Marta, were you going to say something?
Yeah, I just want to know one thing about your business because, for example, in the acupuncture world, there are people who are trying to get more of their social media and so I want to refer you. So I want to know more about your services and how your services can help my community in one way.
Yeah. So what I do is I create a marketing strategy. So I build out who your target audience is, where they could be, how to reach them. And then what I typically can do in two forms. One, I act as like a fractional CMO for big organizations where I oversee all their marketing. I create all their marketing. I bring in experts to help them have their market go live. And then another form of what I do is I do marketing coaching. So every month, I would connect with, whether it's a small business or early stage startup to understand what their challenges are, what they're doing, what we can talk about, what we can do. I also like to provide resources of who could help them, whether they want to set up Facebook ads. Here's someone who could help, or you want to do PR because we think getting you in the news would really help. Here's a PR contact. So I sort of develop it in that way. Great question if I can do marketing strategy for UK-based startup business. I've never done international marketing before, only once for SeaWorld. And I mostly focus on the US. But some strategies kind of work wherever. I worked with a Swedish company who had a sex therapy app. And so we helped develop marketing plans for that. So a lot of stuff is very universal. I just wouldn't be able to say which websites to be on. Like, I don't know the equivalent of a Yelp or what could be global and what is just US based. But that's the two ways I help. Like I said, it's so easy to market everyone else's business. But when you have to market yourself, it's always so much harder, or create your own target market, right? Or create your own brand plans. Like there's something there where it's so much easier to help others than helping yourself. Awesome. Well, thank you both for joining. I will definitely follow up on email. Zanette, is that how I say your name? Feel free to go off mute. Is it Zanette?
Yeah, that is.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure I say it properly. I'll shoot you an email. Marta, I will connect with you too. It's so great to see everyone. I hope you will have a wonderful day. If you're in the Bay Area, stay warm because it is cold here. We're not used to it.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you. Bye.